If you love getting lost in massive worlds where you can be anyone you want, this video is for you. Today we are ranking the 19 best open world RPGs on PlayStation that offer hundreds of hours of gameplay. And also, if you like the content, please subscribe. It really matters a lot to me. Now let's dive in. We have to start with the king of modern RPGs. You play as Geralt of Rivia, a monster hunter looking for his daughter in a massive war-torn world. The gameplay is all about preparation. You cannot just run in and swing your sword. You have to read about the monster, put special oils on your blade, and drink potions to make yourself stronger. This game respects your intelligence. Most games give you a good choice and a bad choice, but this game gives you two bad choices and asks you to pick the lesser evil. The side quests are amazing. You might start a quest looking for a missing frying pan and end up uncovering a huge conspiracy. With the complete edition, you get two massive expansions that are basically entire new games, making this the best value for your money. This is the ultimate simulation of surviving the apocalypse. You walk out of an underground vault into a destroyed version of Boston to look for your kidnapped son. The shooting is fun because of a system called VATS, which slows down time and lets you target specific body parts. You can shoot a monster's legs to make it fall, or shoot its arm so it drops its weapon. The best part of this game is the junk. In other games, trash is useless, but here, every desk fan and glue bottle you find is valuable. You take it back to your base and use it to build houses and upgrade your guns. It makes exploring addictive because you always want to find more stuff to build your perfect settlement. This game changed the genre because it refuses to hold your hand. You play as a warrior exploring a dark fantasy world on a spectral horse. Unlike other games, there are no question marks on the map telling you where to go. You have to look at the horizon, see a giant castle or a glowing tree, and just ride toward it to see what is there. The combat is hard but fair. You have to memorize enemy attacks and dodge at the perfect second. If a boss is too hard, the game lets you leave, explore somewhere else, get stronger, and come back later. It creates a real sense of adventure because you never know what you will find. A chest, a dragon, or an entire underground city. For years, fans dreamed of a game that would let them live the life of a student at Hogwarts, and this game finally made that happen. You play as a student starting in your 5th year who discovers they can control an ancient form of magic. You actually attend classes to learn spells, brew potions, and grow magical plants. The combat is surprisingly fast and fun. You don't just shoot lights, you chain spells together into combos. You can float an enemy in the air, pull them close to you, and then slam them into the ground with fire. The castle itself is amazing to explore. The paintings move, ghosts argue in the hallways, and there are secrets behind every door. You also get a broomstick early on, which lets you fly freely around the huge open world. It captures the magic of the movies perfectly. This is an open world game that focuses on chaos and physics. You play as a hero whose heart was stolen by a dragon, and your goal is to hunt that dragon down. The combat feels very physical and heavy. If you are fighting a giant cyclops, you don't just hit its toes until it dies. You can physically grab onto its leg, climb up its back to its head, and stab it in the eye. You travel with AI teammates called pawns who learn from you. If your pawn helps another player kill a griffin, they will come back to your game and tell you the best way to fight griffins. The world is dangerous because there is very little fast travel. You have to walk everywhere. And when night falls, it gets pitch black and terrifying monsters come out. It feels like a real adventure where anything can happen. This is the darker, grittier return of the king of action RPGs. You play from a top-down view, choosing a class like a barbarian or a necromancer to fight endless waves of demons. The gameplay loop is simple but incredibly addictive. You kill monsters to get loot, and then you use that loot to kill bigger monsters. The game makes you feel powerful. You can build a character that explodes entire screens of enemies with just one button. The best feeling is seeing a bright orange beam of light shoot up from a dead enemy, which means you found a legendary item. It has a massive open world where you can run into other players and team up to fight huge world bosses. It is the perfect game to play when you just want to relax and feel strong. This is the most realistic RPG on this list. You do not play as a superhero or a wizard. You play as Henry, the son of a blacksmith in medieval times. The game simulates real life. You have to eat to stay alive, you have to sleep to rest, and you even have to take baths because if you smell bad, people will not talk to you. At the start of the game, Henry is terrible at everything. He cannot read, he cannot fight, and he cannot even hold a sword correctly. The combat is hard because you have to manually control the direction of your swings, but this is what makes it so rewarding. You literally learn alongside the character. By the end of the game, you feel like you truly earned your skills because you practiced them for hours. It is a slow, immersive experience for people who love history. If you love Fallout but want something funnier and set in space, this is the game for you. You wake up from cryosleep in a solar system that is owned and run by evil corporations. The writing is hilarious. The game lets you solve problems however you want. You can be a charming hero who talks their way out of trouble, a stealthy thief who steals everything, or a dumb character who can barely speak properly. The game is famous for giving you total freedom. You can technically kill every single character you meet and the story will still continue. It is not the biggest open world, but it is very dense. Every planet has unique towns, weird monsters, and interesting people to talk to. It is a shorter RPG that is designed to be played multiple times to see all the different endings. This is a hidden gem for anyone who misses the old school style of storytelling games like the original Mass Effect. You play as Desarde, a diplomat traveling to a newly discovered magical island called Tyr Frady. Your goal is to find a cure for a deadly disease called the Malachor that is killing everyone back home. The island is beautiful but dangerous, filled with strange tree-like monsters and native people who use earth magic. What makes this game unique is that it is not just about fighting, it is about politics. The island is being colonized by different nations. One nation loves science and guns, while the other is obsessed with religion. You are stuck in the middle, trying to keep the peace. The quest design is fantastic because it gives you so many choices. If you need to get past a guard, you don't just have to fight him. You can use your charisma to talk him into letting you pass. You can use science to blow up a wall and sneak around, or you can craft a sleeping potion to knock him out. You can even dress up in the enemy faction's clothes to trick them. The combat uses a tactical pause system. You can freeze time in the middle of a fight to drink a potion, switch your weapon, or aim a perfect gunshot. It feels like a mix of action and strategy. The setting is also very fresh. Instead of the usual medieval knights in shiny armor, the world looks like the 17th century. Characters wear fancy coats and tricorn hats, and they fight with rapiers and muskets. It is a lower budget game, so the faces might look a bit stiff, but the heart and soul of the story are incredible. It makes you feel like a true explorer in a strange new world. This game had a very rough start, but after years of updates, it is now a masterpiece and one of the most immersive RPGs ever made. You play as V, a mercenary trying to make a name for themselves in Night City. The story kicks off when a heist goes wrong, and you end up with a biochip in your head that contains the soul of a dead rock star named Johnny Silverhand, played by Keanu Reeves. The problem is that the chip is slowly overwriting your brain, killing you. You and Johnny hate each other at first, but over the course of the game, you build a complicated friendship as you try to save your life. Night City is the real star of the show. It is a massive, neon-soaked metropolis that feels suffocating and alive. You can drive through the rain-slicked streets, look up at the massive skyscrapers, and get lost in the crowds. The gameplay is all about freedom. You can build your character in wild ways. You can install mantis blades in your arms to slice enemies up close, or get gorilla arms to punch open steel doors. If you prefer stealth, you can become a net runner, which is like a combat hacker. You can look at a camera and hack it to see enemies, then hack the enemy's own cyberware to make their grenades explode in their pockets or make them go blind. The Ultimate Edition includes the Phantom Liberty expansion, which adds a new area called Dogtown. This story turns the game into a high-stakes spy thriller involving the president, and it has some of the best writing and acting in video game history. This is a hardcore survival RPG designed for people who think modern games are way too easy. In most games, you are a chosen one or a legendary hero with special powers. In Outward, you are nobody. You are just a regular person trying to pay off a family debt, and the world does not care if you live or die. The most important item in the game is your backpack. Your backpack holds your food, your water, your tent, and all your loot, but it is heavy. If you get into a fight while wearing it, you will move slowly and run out of stamina. So you You have to press a button to drop your backpack on the ground to fight effectively, but here is the catch. If you lose the fight and have to run away, or if you die and respawn somewhere else, your backpack stays where you dropped it. You might wake up in a bandit cave with nothing but your underwear, and you have to sneak back to find your bag to get your sword and clothes back. The magic system is also very different. You cannot just press a button to shoot a fireball. You have to prepare. You might need to draw a magical circle on the ground, place special stones in the center, and stand inside it to cast a spell. It feels like real, complicated magic. You also have to worry about your health constantly. If you walk in the snow without a coat, you will catch a cold. If you eat raw meat, you will get sick. You need to boil water before you drink it. It sounds stressful, but it is incredibly rewarding because every journey feels like a real expedition. It also features split-screen co-op, so you can sit on the couch with a friend and try to survive this brutal world together. This game is a fascinating mix of styles. It was written by a famous fantasy author, R.A. Salvatore, and designed by the lead designer of the Elder Scrolls IV's Oblivion. The result is a game that has the massive world of an Elder Scrolls game, but the fast, flashy combat of God of War. The world is incredibly colorful and looks like a high fantasy fairy tale, full of glowing forests, massive castles, and weird fey creatures. The combat is the best part. It is fast and fluid. You can equip 2 weapons at once, like a giant hammer and magical chakrams, throwing discs, and switch between them in the middle of a combo without stopping. You can juggle enemies in the air, slam them into the ground, and unleash magic attacks that fill the screen with color. The unique mechanic here is the destiny system. In most RPGs, if you pick a warrior class at the start, you are stuck being a warrior forever. In Amalur, you can change your destiny whenever you want. You unlock destiny cards based on how you play. If you use a lot of magic, you unlock mage cards. If you use daggers, you unlock rogue cards. If you get bored, you can just visit a Fate Weaver, pay a small fee, and instantly change your entire build to try something new. The game is absolutely massive, with hundreds of side quests and factions to join. The Re-Reckoning edition also adds a new expansion called Fatesworn, adding even more hours to a game that is already huge. It is the perfect comfort food RPG if you just want to relax and fight monsters. This game is very different from other entries in the series because it is set in a modern world mixed with fantasy. You play as Prince Noctis, but instead of sitting in a castle, you are on a road trip with your 3 best friends Gladiolus, Ignis, and Prompto. The main method of travel is a luxury convertible car called the Regalia. You actually drive across the country, stopping at gas stations to refuel, buying snacks at diners, and listening to classic Final Fantasy music on the car radio. The bond between these 4 characters is the heart of the game. They talk constantly, make jokes, and comment on the scenery. Prompto takes photos automatically during gameplay, and every night when you rest at a hotel or a campsite, you can look through the pictures he took that day. It makes the journey feel personal and nostalgic. The camping mechanic is surprisingly deep. You have to camp to level up. When you set up a tent, Ignis will cook a meal using ingredients you found in the world. The food looks incredibly realistic and delicious, and eating it gives you massive stat boosts for the next day. The combat is real-time and action-heavy. Noctis can throw his sword and instantly warp to where it lands. You can warp across the battlefield to strike an enemy from behind, or warp up to a high tower to regain your mana. The Royal Edition is the version you must play. It adds a bigger map for the final city, new bosses, and the ability to upgrade the car into a monster truck so you can drive off-road. The story builds up to an incredibly emotional ending that focuses on brotherhood and sacrifice, and it will likely leave you in tears. This is the game that finally made Monster Hunter a global phenomenon. Before this, the series was niche and hard to get into, but World made everything smoother, prettier, and bigger. You play as a hunter traveling to the New World, a continent filled with massive dinosaurs and dragons. The environment here is arguably the best ever made in a video game. It is a living, breathing ecosystem. You don't just walk into an arena and fight. You have to track the monster. You look for footprints, scratches on trees, and mucus on the ground. Your scout flies, glowing green bugs guide you to the beast. Once you find it, the fight begins. But the monsters feel alive. They will get hungry and hunt smaller animals. They will limp away to sleep when they are hurt. And sometimes another monster will show up and they will start fighting each other in a massive turf war while you just watch. There are 14 different weapon types, and each one plays like a completely different game. If you pick the Great Sword, the game is slow and tactical. You have to predict where the monster will be and charge up a massive swing. If you pick the Insect Glaive, you can vault into the air and fly around the monster like an acrobat. If you pick the Hunting Horn, you play music to buff your teammates. The Master Edition includes the Iceborne expansion, which is essential. It adds a massive new snowy region called the Hoarfrost Reach, new mechanics like the Clutch Claw that lets you grapple onto monsters, and Master Rank difficulty, which puts your skills to the ultimate test. It offers hundreds of hours of grinding that never gets boring because the combat is just that good. Even though the sequel is out now, the original game is still considered a masterpiece by many fans because of its unique atmosphere. The graphics are a bit older, but the combat mechanics are perfect. This game does magic better than almost any other RPG. In most games, a mage just shoots little fireballs. In Dragon's Dogma, magic is terrifying. You can summon a massive tornado that fills the entire screen, picking up enemies and throwing them into the sky. You can call down meteors that crush everything. You feel like a god of destruction. The game also features a unique mechanic where you can physically climb onto monsters. You can grab onto a griffin's feathers as it flies into the air and stab it while you are hundreds of feet off the ground. The world design is dangerous in a way that modern games are not. When night falls, it gets pitch black. You cannot see anything without your lantern, and your lantern needs oil. If you run out of oil in the middle of a forest at night, you are in big trouble, because that is when the ghosts and undead come out. The Dark Arisen version includes a massive dungeon called Bitter Black Isle. This is a high-level area filled with the hardest bosses in the game, including Death itself, who can kill you in one hit. It is a dungeon crawler experience that tests everything you have learned, rewarding you with the best cursed weapons and armor in the game if you can survive. This is the ultimate medieval sandbox simulator. Most RPGs give you a story to follow. You have to save the princess or stop the dragon. Bannerlord gives you nothing. You start the game with a rusty sword, a cheap horse, and a few coins. What you do next is completely up to you. You can travel from town to town buying grain cheap and selling it high to become a rich merchant. You can fight in gladiator arenas to win money and fame. You can work as a mercenary for a king, fighting his wars for a paycheck. Or you can try to become an emperor yourself. The main draw of the game is the battles. These aren't small fights, they are massive wars with hundreds of soldiers on screen at once. You are right there in the middle of it on your horse, but you are also the commander. You have to shout orders to your troops, telling your archers to hold fire until the enemy is close, or ordering your cavalry to charge into the enemy's flank. It feels chaotic and epic. You can also besiege castles, building massive siege engines like catapults and battering rams to break down the walls. Eventually, if you are successful, you can own cities, manage taxes, get married, and start a dynasty. Your character will eventually die of old age, and you continue playing as your child, keeping your family's legacy alive. We have to end this list with the most legendary open-world game of all time. Even though it is over 10 years old, Skyrim is still the gold standard for freedom in video games. You start the game as a prisoner being taken to your execution, but you escape when a dragon attacks the village. You soon find out that you are the Dragonborn, a hero with the soul of a dragon who can shout with the power of a storm. But honestly, the main story is not why people play Skyrim. People play it because you can ignore the main story completely and still have an amazing life. You can walk out of that first cave and just pick a direction. You might find a haunted burial tomb, a camp of giants herding mammoths, or a secret guild of assassins hiding in a swamp. The character system is brilliant because it is so natural. There are no classes. You don't have to pick warrior or mage at a menu. You become what you do. If you want to be good at archery, you just pick up a bow and start shooting. If you want to be a master thief, you just start sneaking around and picking pockets. The more you use a skill, the better it gets. The world is incredibly immersive. The music by Jeremy Soule is beautiful and relaxing, making even a walk through a snowy forest feel emotional. The Anniversary Edition is the best version to play on PlayStation because it adds tons of new content. It includes a survival mode, where you have to eat, sleep, and stay warm, which makes the snowy mountains actually dangerous. It also adds fishing, new quests, and new armor sets. It is a game that you don't just play, you live in it. There is a reason why millions of people are still playing it today. It simply never gets old. And there we have it. Those are the 19 best open-world RPGs on PlayStation that will give you hundreds. If you want to hunt robotic dinosaurs, survive a nuclear apocalypse, or attend magic school, there is a world on this list waiting for you to explore. I really want to know what you think. Which one of these open worlds is your favorite? Is there a hidden gem that I missed? Let me know in the comments below. I read all of them.